The redistricting push in Indiana failed overwhelmingly. Senate Republicans in Indiana have shot down the plan to redistrict, so we're going to be keeping them 2 blue seats over there. Didn't work. They actually shot it down by a pretty significant margin, which is crazy. They saw what happened to Texas. Well, right now, Texas is moving forward. The Supreme Court has allowed them to continue. Why? I don't know. Maybe to avoid a dummy-mander? Maybe.
We knew there were Republicans reluctant to redrawing these congressional maps mid-decade. But did anyone really expect a vote total like this, or a resounding rejection against
it failed.
President Trump?
31-19.
They did not. Certainly the White House and the president's allies did not. Even Indiana Republicans are somewhat surprised by the margin. But again, 21 Republicans voting with Democrats to reject this push by the White House. This, without question, as we near the end of the year here, is the biggest rebuke that President Trump has taken, politically speaking, in ruby red Indiana. Of course, he's still popular there.
MAGA's dead, man. MAGA's dead. Seriously, Trump's been pushing very aggressively for this. So is J.D. Vance. They're aware of the fact that they're going to get slaughtered in the upcoming midterms, so they want every seat they can get. And, yeah, no. If Indiana Republicans side with these never-Trumpers to do the dirty work of Democrats, I'll be spending a lot of time in Indiana next year campaigning against every single one of them. Well, looks like you'll have to replace the entire fucking Republican legislature over there in Indiana, so good luck with that. From J.D. Vance, Rod Bray, Senate leader in Indiana, has consistently told us he would not fight redistricting while simultaneously whipping his members against it. That level of dishonesty cannot be rewarded, and the Indiana GOP needs to choose a side. Or in other words, the administration is committed enough to the Indiana redistricting project that they're just threatening to primary anyone who stands in their way. And then most of them stood in their way. So
there's no question if he ran again, he would win there. But this is a sign that all Republicans are not going to follow lockstep what he does. And Jake, I was watching the debate this afternoon.
It's so fucking over.
And it was extraordinary, actually, for all the national implications of this. This was actually very much a local debate. And what the White House was asking Indiana to do was redraw these districts that were effectively going to take away representation from some parts of the state and lump them into larger districts. There were concerns from rural senators, from some urban senators as well, specific concerns about the economy in northern Indiana. Would they be represented? So at the end of the day, when you watch this debate, it was much more about local issues. But of course, President Trump was trying to make the case that he needed these 2 seats. Of course, this is part of this extraordinary state by state redistricting plan that the president himself engineered several months ago to try and keep control of the House next year. Now, not having these 2 seats makes it more difficult. But the bottom line, a huge political rebuke for President Trump.
Yeah, it's difficult to overstate how big of a deal this is. I think they could have pushed for this redistricting without many consequences either. So the fact that a majority of them broke ways with the president and rejected it, even though it might have been politically beneficial for them to try, I don't know. It's crazy. You know what it tells me? My most likely explanation for this? They know he's fucking done, and they want to keep their seats longer than he will. They know that if they start muddling with the redistricting, it's going to contribute to negative sentiment in the state, and it puts their seats more at risk in the future. They're like, fuck it. I want to stay in office longer than Trump. He's not going to be around for long. Oh my God. It's so fucking over.
We're glad you're with us. I'm Ben Bradley.
And I'm Lourdes Duarte. We begin the 4 o'clock news here with some breaking news from Indiana, where Republicans in the state Senate have rejected a high-stakes, high-pressure campaign from President Trump to change their electoral maps to give their party an edge. Republicans already dominate politics in the Hoosier state. The proposed map rejected by the state Senate moments ago would have given the GOP an advantage in all 9 districts in the state. Republicans who voiced opposition to the plan have been the victims of bomb threats and other vitriol directed their way. Lawmakers, though, taking the crucial vote just within the last hour.
WGN's Julian Cruz is following the story from Hammond.
The passionate debate in Indianapolis finally drawing to a close within the last half hour. The redistricting proposal shot down by a 19-31 vote.
When people vote, they have a right.
Can you remind us, parentheses, me, what dummy-mander means? Well, the whole point of gerrymandering is to make sure that you have a majority representation in enough districts that you're getting the best possible outcome. But a dummy-mander is when you spread yourself too thin, you know? Basically, you're like, I could make myself have 12 seats, each of which with a 5-point margin, you know? There's a 5-point margin to Republicans in each of these. But then a big Dem wave rolls around and every single one of those seats gets flipped, basically. It's like, rather than have like 2 Democrat seats and 10 where you have a plus 15 majority, you spread yourself too thin with the gerrymandering until you have a narrow majority everywhere, and then a big shift to the left ends up getting every seat, rather than them just, you know, holding on to their 2 plus getting maybe 1 or 2, you know?
Right for their voices to be heard. They deserve faith in the system, faith in us.
My opposition to mid-cycle gerrymandering is not in contrast with my conservative principles. My opposition is driven by them.
The question of legality is settled. We have the constitutional right.
This guy looks fucking jacked.
And I would argue the moral obligation to draw the districts that reflect the political will and the value of the people who elected us.
I'm thankful to the senators who are seeing it for what it is, the power grab.
Lake County, Indiana Democratic Party Chairman and County Commissioner Mike Repay weighing in on this historic moment as Indiana state senators hash it out in the state capitol. Repay arguing.
Dude. GOP Senate Leader Bray tells the press Indiana Republicans cannot visit redistricting in 2026. He's not even willing to consider it for the future. This is a massive break from the president. I would say this is actually this is up there with the election results in 2025. This is really bad for them. I mean, for Trump, for the mandate. It all falls apart as soon as people start disobeying the president, you know? God damn. This is the first one that feels like a real shot across the bow. Yeah, it's the first time, at least to my memory, apart from Senate Majority Leader Thune refusing to get rid of the filibuster, that I can remember of Republicans just unambiguously breaking with the president and doing something that makes him mad. Reportedly, Trump has said, at least according to Heritage Action, that all federal funding will be stripped from the state of Indiana, a deep red state, if they fail to pass the redistricting map. Now, I don't know if that's actually true, and even if it is, he's just saying shit. You know, I don't know if he's actually going to do it. But yeah, it looks really bad. Keep in mind, Heritage Action posted this to intimidate the legislators over in Indiana into posting it. Like, they posted this morning to say, hey, you better do this or the president's going to get you. So this is the kind of tactics, or these are the kinds of tactics they've resorted to using on their own people, and it's still not working. Why are they breaking away, though? Wouldn't gerrymandering benefit them? It would. I think the reason they're breaking is because they don't want to build up to a bunch of negative sentiment against them when the MAGA coalition collapses. I think that a lot of these Indiana state legislators are aware of the fact that the Trump administration is faltering massively and they're not going to be around for long, and they don't want to, they don't want to hitch a ride to a sinking ship. What industries are in Indiana? Pointed hood construction. Oh, they make crosses. Meth? NASCAR? Yeah, there's NASCAR. Incest porn production studios. For that extra authentic edge. Me on Pornhub when the title says they're real mom and son. Me when I see that this was shot in Indiana. Oh! It's not a great state. The worst taco I ever had was at a 5K run in Indiana. Well, there you go. That's anecdote straight from chat. Are there any people in chat who are from Indiana? Any Indianers? Me? I mean, if enough people watching, somebody's going to be. Been to Indiana, it sucks. I'm sure there's some beautiful stuff in Indiana, including right now, at least for a moment, the moral centers of these Republican legislators, you know? I'm not saying they're not going to hell. I'm just saying their hearts, when weighed against a feather, will weigh a little less heavily now, you know?